Well, my team, I'm in sixth grade, and I'm a quarterback playing against, like, eighth graders with full-on beards, and my offensive line is as tall as me. But, yeah.
Give me better players, Cam. I mean, goodness.
Wait, it sounds a little like his dad, though, blaming the coordinator.
Ouch.
We have like 400 kids at our entire school. It's a big, tiny school.
Jay, what's your go-to play on 3rd and long?
Punt.
Our old friend, good old number 6, the former Bear great, Jay Cutler, joining Waddle and Silvy, his old buddies on ESPN 1000. Jay, how you feeling?
Good. How are you feeling? You still sick, or you just battling through Fridays?
No,
I just pooped his pants, Jay.
Like usual. Yeah,
that's right. It's a Friday. He just pooped himself.
No, I feel much better. Like, there's nothing worse than that. I think, I don't know if you remember, Waddle missed a show one time because of that. There's nothing worse than having that stomach flu for like 24, 36 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like all the kids have kind of just been going through them since Christmas. So we've experienced it.
Did you ever play in a game where you basically were suffering through something like that?
Not that I can remember. No, I mean just banged up and stuff, but never a serious injury.
Did you miss us over the last couple of years? How much have you missed us?
I can't believe you guys. I mean, I say this every time, I feel like, but I can't believe you guys are still on air.
Yeah, that's what you said to me. Are you guys still doing your radio show?
Not sure anyone's listening, but we're still doing this.
I mean, obviously someone's listening. They would kick you off long ago.
You did enjoy some moments joining us on a regular basis, didn't you?
Absolutely. Well, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be back here talking to you guys either. So it's is what it is.
So what are
but
go ahead.
I picked up the kids from school, and I was telling the boys, I was like, hey, I need like 30 minutes when we get home, and told them why. And Cam was like, no, I need to do that. I know more about Bears football than you do now.
Wow.
So
we should get him on if you would let him at the end of this.
Cam, come here.
All right, great. This is great.
How old is he now, if you don't mind me asking?
Cam's 12.
12. And is he a quarterback too?
Cam, what do you think about Ben Johnson and Caleb?
I think we're going to be pretty good. I don't know why we got Deacon Doyle from the Broncos. He's kind of a random pickup, I feel like, for offense coordinator. But I think Ben and Caleb are going to do something good.
That's good. Can I give him a proper intro though, Jay? I mean, I didn't think that was a proper intro.
Yeah, you can do the intro.
Does he go by Cam or Camden?
Camden?
I'll go by Cam.
All right, here we go. All right, let's put it's Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000. Who needs the former quarterback, Jay Cutler? We're talking to his son, the expert on the Chicago Bears and all things football. Let's pick it up with Cam Cutler right now, who's making his inaugural debut on the Waddle and Silvy show. Cam, tell us your thoughts on what you saw in person at Soldier Field from the new Bears quarterback, Caleb Williams.
I think I only really got to saw warm-ups because in the game he did get sacked a lot. But for warm-ups, he was looking really good. I think we're really going to be special next year. But he was looking nice out there. He could really throw that fast.
Do you like Ben Johnson's hiring?
Oh yeah, well, I think it was the best. I think he was the best coordinator on the market for head coaching.
Yeah.
I think he was the best.
Cam, are you a quarterback too?
Oh, yes, sir, yeah.
Yeah?
Look at that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, your father never talked to us with that type of respect.
No respect. Like that. Cam, do you believe that Caleb Williams will break all of your dad's records?
I don't think he will next season, but I do think he will eventually, yes. I also think he'll be the first Bears quarterback to pass for 4,000 yards.
Wow. Oh, okay, yeah. And how about 30 touchdowns as well? That's never happened.
30 touchdowns? You never did that? I think he's got that. How many did he have this year? Like 19, I think? 19, 20?
I forget.
Yeah, I think he'll have that.
20. I think 20. Yeah.
I think 20, yeah, 19 or 20.
He'll throw 30 next year.
You
Yeah,
think
he
so?
will.
Dude, we got to get him a car deal. I know he's not old enough to drive. He'll be reading that car spot, and we'll be going out, and we're doing the Cam Cutler show.
Yeah, he had 20 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. Cam, how's your dad as a coach? Like, I'm sure he's got you in the backyard trying to teach you the position.
Not really,
No?
but he did coach my middle school team, and the coordinate, like, how we did it was kind of weird because for every single play, I'd have to come off the field. He'd tell me the play, and then I'd go back onto the field.
Yeah.
But he's a good coach. He did make some good plays. He's a good coach, but he could be better.
Okay.
Oh, he could be better.
He could be better.
Like
In what
how?
way? Yeah, how could he be better?
I could get better plays. We went 0-9 this season.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
Yeah,
Jay,
we were doing that.
0-9?
Well, my team, I'm in 6th grade, and I'm a quarterback playing against, 8th graders with full-on beards, and my offensive line is as tall as me. But, yeah.
Get me better players, Cam. I mean, goodness.
Wait,
What
it sounds
kind of
a
way
little
is
like
it?
his dad, though, blaming the coordinator.
Ouch.
We have 400 kids at our entire school. It's a big, tiny school.
Jay, what's your go-to play on 3rd and long?
Punt. All right, Cam, get out of here. You're done.
All right, thank you. Thank you,
Good
guys.
job, you're great.
Cam.
That's
Well
awesome.
done.
That was great.
All right.
What a kid, Jay. You got to be proud of him.
Yeah, he's a piece of work. I'll tell you what. But yeah, he goes to a smaller public elementary school, and we don't have the kids as some of these other bigger schools in Williamson County. So I think we only had 6 or 7 8th graders, and we had 36th graders, but they weren't big kids. So it was definitely a learning curve for us this year, but it was fun. It was fun coaching Cam, obviously, and then the rest of the kids.
That's awesome.
So to the Bears, Jay, when you went to Miami for
that was there.
Yes, I was going to say, did you know who he was? Because I think he was the assistant wide receivers coach at that point.
Yeah, he had kind of reminded me of a few other coaches, like the Jeremy Bates and the Dow Loggins of the world, and some of those guys that were super well-rounded because he had been with tight ends, had offensive line, had been receivers. And so he was in charge of a lot of our third down passing. And you could tell immediately that, I mean, this dude was something special. I knew as soon as I got there. So, I mean, you knew he was going to be on a fast track to some sort of OC, possible head coaching job. I mean, I think what he did in Detroit speaks for itself. It's a hard place to do it.
Do you like the combination of Ben with Caleb? I mean, you think he will be able to get the most out of what Caleb's got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I keep bringing up Canada, but me and Canada were talking about it, and I was like, if Ben Johnson wants the job, it's his. You pay him whatever he wants, you get out of the way, you let him get his players in there, and you see what happens. Let's give him 3 years, let's give him 5 years, and let him do his thing, and see what happens here.
So a lot of people are wondering, a new head coach who's been a coordinator, the hot coordinator. We're fine with that, and we'd rather take a swing than hire a guy like Mike McCarthy. What was your thoughts when Mike McCarthy became available and taking a gamble on a guy who is that highly thought of but has never been a head coach?
I mean, I've never played for Mike. I mean, I know Aaron really enjoyed his time there with him. I think those guys, it's a different tree. It's kind of the old West Coast stuff. It's the Gruden stuff. It's the Shanahan stuff. Holmgren, that breed of offense, and it's very effective in the NFL. With the Ben Johnsons of the world, I think they've got some more stuff in their pocket. They pulled from a lot of different stuff. I know Ben. He was with Adam down there, so he had Peyton stuff, West Coast stuff, numbers. Mike Martz. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff to pull from, and I think he's really inventive in some of the things he does offensively. And it's a different game now. I mean, these guys they're throwing the ball a lot, playing quarterback. I don't think it's easier, but you're not getting hit. It's just a different game. So taking a Ben Johnson, I thought was the right move, especially if you're going all in on Caleb. And I mean, that team's got talent. I mean, I think they got to show up some offensive line stuff, but
they got some dudes that can go.
What did you think of what you saw from Caleb?
Talent's there. He can spin it. I think he sees the field extremely well. He's obviously can move. I think some of the sacks and some of the hits and some of the inaccuracy was because of I don't think he knew exactly what was happening up front. I don't think he knew where his problems were. I don't think he has a problem reading defenses, but with a lot of different shows and different stunts and them blitzing from different places and platforms these days, you got to know exactly where your problems are. And if you don't, I think some of those inconsistencies we saw from him is what's going to result.
I know you weren't in the building, but I guess this would be speculation, but with the benefit of hindsight, obviously the Shane Waldron offense didn't fit what Caleb was trying to do, and then you factor in the instability that exists, not only changing head coaches, but OCs. Like, how difficult is it for a quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback, to have to deal with all of that?
I mean, you should have shut him down, honestly. Just been done. I mean, it gets to a point where you're not helping the kid, you're just hurting him.
Well, Waddle and I argued about that, Jay. Like, Waddle said, look, every snap, though, and Thayer said this too, and, like, he did win the Green Bay game, that every snap is a good experience. And I'm like, well, look, he's going to get a new coach. So go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, I agree with you, Sylvia. I mean, I don't think every experience is a good experience. I think you get to a point where you're kind of seeing ghosts. You're not sure what you're seeing really at all out there. And I think you could see that. I mean, I think he's athletic enough, and the rules allow him to be able to move around and not get hit. So I think the risk is a little bit lower. But you get to a point where you're going to hire somebody else. You're going to have a new offense. You're going to have a new culture. I mean, if he's your franchise, there's no point in throwing him out there. But, is what it is. They put him out there and let him play, and now he's got to learn a new offense. But it's going to be a good offense, and I think Ben's going to ease him into some things. He's going to protect him. He's going to show they're going to show him exactly where his problems are on each play, and they're going to give him answers. They're going to give him outs. I mean, I think you look at him play last year, and he wasn't sure where his out was if he got in trouble.
Who would have thought that you two would have been on the same page?
Never.
Simpatico.
I know, right?
Simpatico with how to handle the quarterback.
Mark the day.
Yes.
Mark it.
Mark
I
it
love
down.
it. We've come a long way, Jay.
I know.
So, one of the hot things that people would tweet all the time: coaching matters. Coaching matters. How much, especially with a young quarterback, and when you got here too, it seemed like you had a revolving door of offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
How much does that coordinator matter? The good coaching matter and impact your performance, and to have this go right, so it isn't a constant revolving door of different voices in his head.
Yeah, I think you look across the league and you look at the top quarterbacks, and they don't have bad coordinators with them. I mean, obviously the coordinator and player help each other. The better the player is, the better the coordinator is going to look. But it's kind of you're not gonna see an offensive coordinator or really bad offensive lines behind or in front of a quarterback. So I think they got to. I mean, if you're gonna go with him, I think you got to give, like I said earlier, Ben. Give him a long leash. Let him do his thing and give him a chance to do this, because it doesn't happen overnight. Patrick, I don't think he played his first year. I mean, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have taken 2-3 years and really matured into something super special. So it's a 3-year process to really master an offense, I think.
You know me too. I love asking these types of fantasy scenarios. If Caleb ends up in Washington with a better setup, with Kingsbury, with Quinn, and ownership stability with the new owner, and the line, and Jaden Daniels ends up here, which we thought was a good scenario going into the season, but the line stunk and the offensive coordinator wasn't good, and Eberflus was on the hot seat. Is Jaden Daniels as good as he was last year, or is Caleb the great rookie and Jaden's where Caleb is right now, decent but not great? Yeah,
I think that's totally believable. I mean, I think obviously we don't know. It's hypothetical, but I think if you put Jaden in the situation that Caleb is in, you'd have very similar results. You have very similar stats, and likewise, if you put Caleb over there, I mean, lines matter, offensive coordinators matter, culture matters, head coach matters. I mean, it all matters. It takes a lot of people to make an offensive play go, and that starts on Monday mornings when you're putting in the game plan. So I think that's a fair thing to say.
You mentioned Patrick Mahomes' name a little bit ago, Jay. At this point, where would you kind of put him in that pantheon of great quarterbacks?
He's got a long way to go, but I think talent-wise and what he's done, it's hard not to put him damn near at the top. Right. I mean, I don't think we've seen a guy talent-wise that can do what he does with his feet, with his arm, improvise, and still play within a system, still play with rhythm. I don't think there's been really that combination. I mean, Josh Allen put together a heck of a year. Lamar Jackson put together a heck of a year, but Patrick just finds ways to win, which is crazy.
I want to play you the Mike Martz stuff. This is initially how he made contact back again. And I'm glad you responded. So Mike Martz was on the stretch. This is on Barstool with our guys over there. And I'll play it for you. You responded to me, and then you couldn't believe he said this. Give me your reaction. This was hold on one sec. This was Mike Martz on the stretch.
What people don't realize is he had diabetes. Not just a little bit. He was full-blown diabetic. Mm-hmm. And when you're a diabetic, do you remember that awful game up in New York with the Giants? Like 12 sacks or whatever.
They all blend together, but probably.
It was at night. And it's called, if you ever are interested in this, look up Sundowner Syndrome.
Yeah, I know what it is.
And that's exactly what he went through. And we're trying to tell the guys, we got to check now he would check it, but the doctors wouldn't. Well, once it starts affecting him, he's a little goofy. He stops checking it. So after I left, they had a doctor sit next to him on the bench and check it all the time. But he had a couple of those instances where it did affect him.
What do you say to that?
That kills me, man. He used to ask me this all. He was fascinated by it, and the amount of time I spent in Mike's office talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the game plan or football in general was mind-boggling. He was fascinated with, so much like history and all kinds of stuff. But back to that, yes, he asked me about this all the damn time. I'm like, Mike, I don't have this. I can see fine at night. I'm good to go. I was like, I'd be like, how many games have I won on Monday nights? Like we win night games. And we had Chicago was even better than Denver about having somebody with me, checking my blood sugar and stuff like that. And I would tell Mike, I was like, the only time my blood sugar really goes up is when I get hit. So maybe if we stop running 7-step drops without a left tackle, we might be able to eliminate some of this stuff.
It's funny because I went and looked at the following year, the year that you guys were, I think you were, I forget what you were, but you were playing very well, and then you got hurt against the Chargers. That year you played 3 night games before you got hurt, and in those 3 games, I think you had like 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. You've won 2 out of the 3 games, and you played really, really well. We couldn't understand why Mike went that direction with that.
I say once Mike got something in his head, there wasn't anything stopping him. So he believed it, and he was going to make sure that the entire damn building thought it was true. I remember one time he was pissed because everyone was complaining he didn't run the ball enough. So I think we ripped off like 15 straight runs, just ripping them. Came over, and he's like, all right, I think that's enough. I don't even know if he ran the ball the rest of the damn game. He was funny, man.
That was it. So
he was. I tell you what, though, he was an unbelievable OC. I mean, he was a damn near a genius. The guy was unbelievably smart, but he was a handful to deal with. Or Shane Day. Well, Shane Day came over with him, and we kind of changed it up a little bit, the verbiage and stuff. So Mike would say it in the old verbiage, and then Shane would have to translate it all during the game. It was wild.
Is that what happened when you said to go tell Martz to go blank himself?
No, I forget what happened there. I think he was trying to tell me that get rid of the ball or do something. And I was like, I think I was probably tired of getting hit.
That makes sense.
So it was when we first heard that, Waddle and I said, because we used to get calls away from our show with you during the regular week where the typical sports radio show caller would call in and go, guys, I want to throw something at you. I know someone who's got diabetes and maybe Jay doesn't see well at night. I'll hang up and listen. And then we would laugh at it and we make fun of them. And then so after we heard the March thing, we're like, we have to apologize to all the sports radio callers. So you're saying now we should take back the apology that the diabetes had nothing to do with anything at night and March is way off.
No, I mean, diabetes, it's not like my diabetes got worse at night. I mean, I had it in the morning, too. I mean, it was what it was.
He said it, too. He referenced, I think it was sundowner's syndrome.
Yeah, sundowner's syndrome.
That's not attached to diabetes. It's attached to, like, Alzheimer's and dementia.
I know. I'm telling you, he was obsessed with this. He was obsessed with this, historical wars, and watching old film of the St. Louis Rams. We would sit in his office for hours watching Marshall Faulk just destroy people.
And I know you, like, if I know you, people say a lot of stuff about you, and I'm like, no, not true. No, not true. But the one thing I do know, I think I'm okay to say this is, you don't suffer fools. And I think, like, but by that time, you're like, all right, Mike, can we get to the reason why we're here?
Totally. It was, but I mean, Mike was so entertaining, and we at some point we would get to football. He just had to. He was venting, and oh gosh, and conspiracy theories. We were all about conspiracy theories, and he thought everyone in the building was trying to get him fired. I mean, now that I think about it, it was a crazy couple of years.
Insane.
Everyone was trying to get him. And by the way, what were the speaking of conspiracy theories, we were obsessed in November over the drones in New York, and then they all of a sudden disappeared. What was going on with it?
Just gone. I don't know. I have no idea. And I thought Trump was going to go ahead and leak the secrets. The JFK stuff hasn't been released either, or the MLK stuff. So. It's politically, it's a wild west out there right now.
It's
to be determined.
All right, what's your pick? Give us a score, and who are you picking for the Super Bowl?
I want to say KC so bad, but I think Philly. I think Philly's going to pull it off. I'm going to go 31-28 Philly.
I think if you look at this game and you take Mahomes and Reed and all of that and put it to the side and you just look at the teams, you'd say the Eagles get the advantage in a number of ways, but I just can't get myself to go there.
I know, and I feel the same way, and I love Andy Reid. I love Patrick. They know how to win games. I mean, if it comes down to it and Pat has the ball last, you're in trouble. But with the Saquon, Vic Fangio's over there. He's a mad scientist. He's going to come up with some stuff. If the wide receiving crew for KC can get open and catch the ball and have some big plays, they've got a shot. Yeah. But I mean, Saquon's going to get off. I mean, he's going to get his at some point. So I mean, and if they get it started manageable and stuff like that, and that offensive line starts clicking. I don't know. I mean, I hope it's a good game, but I think Philly might have the edge.
We need to do this again.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
Don't be a stranger. Don't wait 3 years. You know?
I know. I totally agree. Are you guys? Virginia passed.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you. That's a good. See, that's a guy with radio experience right there. So, what were your dealings, if any, with Virginia, and obviously just incredible history.
Incredible history, and she was always so sweet. I mean, no matter what happened, she'd give you words of wisdom, and try to tell you, hey, we'll figure it out. We're supporting you and stuff. So, hate to see that she passed. And even whenever I was still there. I mean, she was still riding on the plane with us. She was in her 90s, and she'd be on the plane with us, and I mean, she was all about it. So. it's it's a icon of the NFL that passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful, very kind woman who always asked about your family as well. Wanted to make sure that everyone that was part of the team felt like a member of the family.
What's I know it's probably a little early to even ask what's going to happen. What is going to happen with that team?
I don't think, honestly, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I don't think anything is going to happen different in the anytime soon. I think that, obviously, they had prepared for something like this. She was 102.
Sure.
So,
yeah, we think so.
I don't think that anything, significant will change going forward. I really don't.
Is the Jeff Bezos thing, does that have any legs to him trying to buy it, or is that just rumor?
His name has always been attached to this team, but I don't think that there's any incentive right now. It doesn't feel like there's any incentive for them to move off of ownership at
Jay,
this
they
point.
can get a lot for this team, too.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, I think this would be an $8 billion, maybe $10 billion. I mean, it'd be an absolute record.
Well, listen, when the Eagles sold 8% of whatever it was, or 8 or 10%, Jeffrey Lurie got, the valuation of his team, the Eagles, was $8.5 billion, and I think the Dolphins did something comparable as well, and their franchise was valued at $8 billion. So the Bears would easily be.
Yeah, it's definitely 10. I mean, it's a lot of zeros. I mean, there's a lot of rich people out there. I just don't know if McCaskey family, if they would ever want to sell it. I don't
would
think
you
they
get
would,
in on
but
it? You putting it together a group?
You want a piece?
I don't have near enough zeros for that, boys.
Jay, great stuff. Great catching up. All the best to your family, too.
Appreciate it.
You guys.
Thank you.
See ya. There's Jay Cutler. Great stuff. And the debut of Cam Cutler on our airwaves. What a personality he was.
I'm not surprised.